it's Ileana, and today I am going to be discussing energy healing again. And I had an interesting experience where I ended up doing a remote energy healing session just because there was something going on with the online system. So for this healing, I did it remotely. So I recorded a video for the person, and it worked the same way as if I had them online with me, because they had sent in their questions to me. So I already knew what I would psychically be working on for the psychic reading. It's just that sometimes if there's something going on with the online system and the person doesn't have headphones or a microphone or something, or you can't hear them because they only have speakers or something like that. So there are ways around that as well to do a session for somebody, a psychic reading session and an energy healing session. As long as you already know ahead of time what you'll be working with the person for their psychic reading or healing session. Like, if they have questions for their psychic reading, it's good if they send it to you, if you ask them to send the questions, or if they have any medical concerns for their energy healing, they should also send that to you, so you know what you'll be working on healing. Like I did a medical intuitive energy body scan for the person that I was working on today, and I picked up a lot of interesting things that needed healing for their body. I don't know any of their medical conditions, that I don't know, but what I intuited in the medical scan of the body it's what I worked on healing today. And I did some light language healing chanting, and I did energy healing where I have the hand movements, this because I work with my hands to do energy healing, to direct the energies to specific focal points in the body, organs, chakras, all that stuff. I also did some emotional trauma healing and clearing for the person. So, and I picked up on those things intuitively, and I answered their questions in the psychic reading. Again, it was all done psychically because I don't have the person in front of me to ask them questions about further things that I see psychically. So I just worked off of what I psychically was picking up on. And I'm a psychic. That's how I usually do it. I don't need to see the person right in front of me. I don't need a photo of the person. It's good if you have a first and last name at least. Then when you're doing a video for them, you know how to address them by name. But again, when I'm doing psychic readings or when I'm doing energy healings and when I'm doing a medical intuitive body scan, I connect to the person's auric field, to their soul vibration, to their soul. So that's how I psychically see what I see. And also on the medical side, also see what's going on with their body. Some people say, well, I'd like an Akashic reading, and go into my Akashic records. When you say Akashic reading to me, I go into your soul level. I see you on your soul level already. That's like an Akashic reading. I don't have to enter the Akashics themselves, the records. Your soul is your Akashic record, basically. So when I'm working psychically with someone, I'm seeing you on your soul level. That's how I see you. I see the soul as a whole. I see your past lives, what's going on with you in the present, what might happen in the future. So I see all of that stuff. And I see information about you, about your health, your emotional state, anything going on with your family, your brothers, sisters, cousins, parents. I see all of those things because the energy that is you, that is your soul, it's also connected to your family and friends and the people around you. So I see all of that stuff and I pick up on it and I tell you about it. If that's what I'm picking up psychically, if it's important, something you need to know about, I will tell you about it. I will ask, can I discuss this with you, that because this is what I'm seeing? And that's how my abilities work. So basically, I usually just work with people online and I see them on video and I hear them audio and video. But sometimes, if there's issues with online stuff, as long as I know what the person's questions are for their psychic reading, I tap into the questions to provide them the answers. I go into their soul level on that, what their Akashic record is in their soul. And I look into that and I provide the answers. So that's how I do the psychic readings. Or if somebody wants a memory retrieval, I also go into their mind and their memories and look in their memories to provide them with answers to their experiences and to fragmented memories to fully complete a full memory instead of a fragment. It's an add-on of what I psychically see in their memories while being in their head, to add it into whatever bits and pieces that they might have to make it a full story of their experience. What they might not be able to remember comes in through me, of what I see in their memories. Some people don't even have memories at all. They don't tap into that, of like, say, their secret space program experiences. Some people don't even have a memory of it. All they have is an inkling that they were in SSP. They were doing something there. So I tap into that and I get the memories. So sometimes I get more memories, sometimes I get less. It depends on really what's in your memories, what's in your mind, what you've experienced as a soul being, as a being in the physicality and in the other realms. So basically, I tap into anything and everything on the soul level, on the physical level, on other dimensions. I tap into all of that for the psychic readings and the healing sessions. So, and it's important to keep in mind, I do ask you questions about you. What is it that you'd like to know about life stuff that's happening to you? About memory retrieval, for SSP stuff, about health, medical health. I will ask you questions to get the best answers for your session. I won't just say, okay, let's do a psychic reading session or an energy healing session without trying to understand who you are and what you would like out of your session. I always will ask questions. I'll say, well, what would you like to work on for your memory retrieval? And that's not me cheating as a psychic. That's me wanting to provide you with the best information that I can so you can get answers for your questions. Because everybody has questions for psychic readings, for energy healing, whatever they'd like to work on. They always have questions or they have impressions or ideas what they'd like to work on and get out of the session. And that's as it should be, because that's the person's session. They're coming for a psychic or an energy healer for answers and for healing results. So part of that is me getting to know you. I don't want the answers to your questions. I give you the answers. But your questions do matter. And the more specific the questions, the more detailed the answers you get from the psychic reading or from an energy healing. That's very important. And everything depends on what kind of session it is. Could be 15-minute session, 30-minute session, could be an hour session, could be an hour and a half or a 2-hour session. The number of questions in the psychic reading sessions, that's really depends on how much time you have for your session that you do, and the quality of it. The more questions there is, the more time will be obviously needed for the session to be done for a psychic reading. Same with the amount of things you'd like to be healed in a session. If you have like 10 things, it might take more than an hour, or it could take several sessions to do, depending on I don't like to say this, but the severity of the medical issue. Because sometimes it's more severe, sometimes it's, light. It depends on the stuff that needs healing. So those are all practical things that I do ask you about in your sessions, before the sessions, when I'm trying to get to know the person who I'll be working with. And this is something about why I wanted to discuss this, is because this is all part of having good communication with the person who's going to be healing you or is going to be doing a psychic reading for you. And you and that person. Good old honest communication and interaction. Because the more you are able to know about the person you're going to be healing or doing a psychic reading for, the more benefit they'll get from their session. In you being able to answer their questions psychically, if they have bits and pieces of memories or experiences, they provide you with that and you fill it in psychically to get a whole story of what happened to them. So those are all parts of things that a psychic should do with whoever they're working with, and also get questions about whatever energy healing they'll be doing for the person. What is the health stuff? What is the emotional stuff? Why do they want the sessions? What are their goals and expectations out of their session? And what is your goals and expectations that you can give them for their session? The answers and the results. So it's important to know some things about people that you'll be working with. It's just basic part of doing this type of stuff. Working with people, healing, and psychic readings. Whether you do this as a living, whether you do this on a voluntary basis, because, sometimes you do healing practicums, you're just learning about this, you're getting to know this field. What is energy healing? What is psychic reading? Whatever it is, whether you're new to this or fully experienced in this and you've been doing this for years, decades, whatever, it's important to understand that there's more to it than just, getting somebody in for a session and doing the session. There's human interaction and line of communication and respect and kindness and, communication, being there for the person. And I'm not saying that, you should do hand-holding for the person and ask a zillion questions or answer a zillion questions on the phone or email, but you need enough to be able to understand what the person's needs are and how you can help them, him or her, during the session. So it's like, as healers and psychics, we're also busy, and we do the work because it's important to be able to give folks healing and answers for their questions. But sometimes you are bombarded by emails, like, constant emails from the same person. And sometimes you do need to draw a boundary, a line, and say, please, blah, blah, blah. Please be respectful. Please be kind. Please not send me so many emails, because that does happen sometimes. And it's no fault of the person emailing, the psychic or the healer, but it can happen. So If that does happen, just be kind to the person, and please be clear to the person that your time is also precious as a healer and as a psychic. You are also a human being, and you have free will and free choice. If something is going on that's not making sense or boundaries are being crossed, be kind, respectful, and compassionate to the person you're responding to in the email. It's very important. Even if you don't like it, just respond in a decent way to the person and let them know, like, this is not acceptable, this is not appropriate to talk to me this way, and provide them with a clear communication of why. Because, people can text you, people can message you, email you, call you at all times of the hour, at night, during the day. If you're working with people in different countries with online sessions, honestly, some people don't know time conversion. They'll call you at 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 10 p.m., whatever, because they're not sure of the time conversion, or text you. So for healers and psychics, if you get somebody calling you or emailing you or texting you at weird hours of the night, it doesn't mean that the person did that on purpose. They might not know where you are, what time zone you're in. And that can happen. So I don't keep my phone with me, like my cell phone, 24/7. I turn it off when I go to sleep. I turn it off if I'm doing something important. I do try my best to check my emails, my messages, my texts, the phone stuff on a regular basis. But as a healer and a psychic, I do have my own free will and life as well. So I just try to be compassionate and kind to people as much as I can. And if boundaries or lines or something unacceptable happens, something is crossed, I try to be as gentle as possible, letting the person know, well, this and this is not so acceptable. And please, if you have questions or you have concerns, we will work on this in the healing session or the psychic reading session, because that's the time where it needs to be done. If you want something healed, if you have questions for me, that will be addressed in the session work. So those are some things to keep in mind. Whether you're an energy healer, a psychic, whether you are trying to get someone to do a healing for you or a psychic reading, those are just some of the things to keep in mind and keep track of. Communication, respect, kindness, and knowing that both people, both the psychic, the energy healer, and the person contacting them, they're people with their own needs, wants, and desires on both ends. So everybody should be treated with respect, kindness, compassion, and some understanding of what you're asking for in the emails, in the texts, and the messages. Because emails, once you send it out there, you can't take it back. Whatever you type, whatever you say, if you leave a voice message or a text or an email, what you put out there, it stays there in the field. Whether you're the person asking for the session, from the healer, the psychic, whatever. If you send them something and they receive it, and it's a huge, huge email, huge voicemail, a text, it's a lot of information. They're like, oh, wow. They might just skim through it. If it's something, so out there, they might ignore it. So just be mindful of what you're sending to the healer, to the psychic. I know you're concerned, you would like a session, you would like to address issues, whatever it is that's important to you, you want to address it, but keep it clear, keep it concise, and don't overwhelm the person with everything all at once. Because that's a lot of information to take in, and information does carry energy and resonance. So whatever you're putting out there, the other person receives it and they're like, oh my God, this is a lot. This is too much. This is like, whoa. And I'm not saying this to be mean to anybody, but that stuff can happen. So just keep it to the point. This is my health issue. This is my what I want to work in my psychic reading. My memories, keep it as concise to the point as you can to put the important information in the email. And honestly, I've done this too. When I worked with hypnosis specialists, with healers, I will like, this is what I expect in the session. I'm like, write it out in big long paragraphs. But I've stopped doing that because it's overwhelming the healer. It's overwhelming the psychic. They're not going to want to read all of that. It's too much in one email. So I try to keep it as short and to the point as I can. Keep it to the most important facts, what really matters to you, what you want out of your session. So when I'm, working with other healers and psychics, when I'm contacting them, I just try to be very respectful and mindful of their time, because they're the ones who are going to be reading the emails and replying back, or the texts or the voice messages, whatever. There's so many different ways of communicating these days, because it's their work, their businesses. Often they run it themselves. They don't have secretaries or assistants. They're taking care of everything: the scheduling, the booking, the session work, recording the videos, doing the reports. They take care of all of that. So that's on them to do it professionally and correctly and to deal properly in communication. But it's also on you as the person contacting the healer or the psychic to be respectful, kind, and mindful of their time and energy that goes into doing all of this beautiful work. So both sides need to be respectful, kind, compassionate, and understanding of what's going on, and how to approach a healer, a psychic, or the psychic approaching the person contacting them, or the healer. It works both ways. Honest, decent communication is the most important part out of this, from what I've learned so far. And I still have a lot to learn, and I'll keep growing and learning and hopefully becoming better as I grow and learn as a soul. But I thought it would be good to further expand on these things in this video and discuss it, because as I learn and I grow, I want to discuss these things and put it out there. So thank you so much, and namaste.